Hi, my name is Judie VanKooiman, and you're watching Life Issues. This month's show is about Northeast Arc, and my guests are Tim Brown and Kacy Jauron. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tim, I'm going to start with you. What is your title, and how long have you been with Northeast Arc?
Currently, I'm the Director of Innovation and Strategy at the Northeast Arc. I've been there for about 27 years now.
Wow, you don't look that old. But congratulations.
Thank you.
And what does that consist of?
So my position was created to help the Northeast Arc to be able to take opportunities that exist and bring them into fruition. So prior to my position, whenever new ideas or new programs needed to get started, it was up to the program staff, who are often overwhelmed in their day-to-day jobs and operating programs, to start up the new program models. So we created this position as a way just to assist the agency and be able to quickly respond to the needs that we're finding in the community.
Okay, very interesting. And Kacy, I'm going to switch to you. What is your title, and how long have you been with Northeast Arc?
So my title is Engagement Manager. I have not been with the Arc as long as Tim. This September will actually be a year for me.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Must be a very interesting, fascinating job.
It is, yes.
And what does your title entail?
So I usually tell people that it's pretty true to the title, the engagement manager. I think one of my main goals is to engage our team internally and to engage communities externally, and everything that entails. So I have my hand in our social media from all of our different programs who have different platforms. I do a lot of our internal communications, such as our newsletters and those types of things. And then externally, everything from our media relations and public relations to our signature events that we have throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
So
great, sounds fascinating. And what is your mission statement for Northeast Arc?
So we have a good short version. We just actually recently have changed our tagline. So it's we discover abilities and we change lives. That's really
right.
Give you the short version of it.
What the Northeast Arc really does is we work with people so they are able to live, work, and play in the communities of their choice.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great. Good. And Tim, can you please tell us what the Northeast Arc tank is?
So the Arc tank was created last year. We were lucky to receive a large donation from Steve Rosenthal, who is a businessman who lives in Marblehead. And he wanted to be able to make a big splash and positively change the lives of people with disabilities. So we created a contest very similar to Shark Tank, which many people have heard about, where we went out and solicited ideas and thoughts from people on what would they do, and the concept was, what would you do if you received $200,000? How would you positively change how disability services were offered? Last year was the first time we ran the contest. We had over 100 applications from around the world submitted, and we engaged a lot of different people throughout the process. So the first round of reviewers, we worked with partners in all different business networks. So we had some app developers, we had bankers, we had industry business leaders, we had human service providers, we had educators and people who worked in foundations review all the applications and used a standardized rating scale to rate each application. The top 7 were selected to come forward to an event that we hosted at the JFK Library. And at that event, everyone had 5 minutes to present their ideas and 5 minutes of questions and answers from our panel of experts. Our panel of experts were community members who are leaders in their individual fields, and their role was to take $200,000 and determine how to spend it in that afternoon. So of the 7 applicants, 3 people were awarded funds and have begun working on their projects and programs. The 3 groups that have won, they were selected because of the ability of those organizations to make the biggest impact as possible. One being a group out of UMass Medical who was working with students who are in allied health professions or studying to be allied health professionals, so OT, PT, speech, and even nursing staff, and to provide hands-on education with people with disabilities. And so they were able to demonstrate how they partnered with all the major teaching hospitals in Boston and with the other universities to roll out this program. The second program that was awarded funds was supported decision-making by the Center for Public Representation, and they're based out of Western Mass, but their programs are in a lot of the states in the United States, as well as overseas. They have programming, and they're assisting people who are either have a guardian or may be getting a guardian to develop a new system that allows people to be independent and train and work with trusted people, and they're almost advisors. So there's not a legal connection. People are able to make their own decisions, but they use guardians or use these volunteers and often family members or staff to help them guide their decisions. And then the third group that won was the North Shore YMCA, and they identified what is considered a significant issue with young children who are on the autism spectrum, is that they have a high mortality rate as a result of swimming issues or water issues. And they were able to come up with a program that would utilize some insurance billing to do some assessments as well as some support, but be able to modify the environments to be able to provide swimming lessons for the young people, and also provide some education and training for the parents around pool safety. And they were selected, even though it's the North Shore Y, but there's about 700 Ys across the country. And so the goal is for them to be able to pilot the project and be able to roll it out to their sisters' programs.
Cool.
So this year we are in the process of accepting applications for new ideas. And if you go onto our website, the application and more information is there.
Okay, awesome, great. And Tim, a lot of people have heard about Breaking Grounds. Can you explain what Breaking Grounds is and how it came about?
So Breaking Grounds is a fully functional coffee shop on Main Street in Peabody. The city of Peabody had worked for many years in trying to revitalize their downtown area. And one of the key factors that kept coming up through business surveys and residential surveys was having a hip and fun coffee shop in the downtown area. And when you look from national models, a lot of communities who are trying to revitalize their Main Streets area always identifies having a coffee shop as kind of like the crucial point to get the ball rolling. So the city had worked for years trying to find someone to come in and operate a coffee shop in downtown Peabody. And it literally was just a joking text from the director of community development to myself one afternoon saying, doesn't the Northeast Arc need a coffee shop? At first I said no, was my gut reaction. But that evening I read an article about the restaurant scene on the North Shore and the lack of entry-level employees. We provide employment training for people with disabilities, and we worked with a lot of people who had an interest and a desire to work in food service, but did not have the experience on doing that. And we wanted to be able to offer them hands-on paid training experiences to better prepare them to enter the workforce. So Breaking Grounds is open 7 days a week. We have a full coffee and espresso bar and a tea bar. We have breakfast sandwiches and lunch sandwiches. On Friday nights, we have rotating bands come in and play. On Saturday nights, we have a very popular open mic night and rotating art on the walls that highlight various artists on the North Shore and in the Peabody community. So for us, Breaking Grounds provides a real training avenue for people who have an interest in food service or customer service. And for the city, it's been a great partnership because that's been a critical point to helping them turn around some of the Main Street revitalization that they've been working on.
That's great, good for them. And Tim, what type of jobs have people secured since going through Breaking Ground?
So the great part about Breaking Grounds is the folks that we support can try out many different areas and really identify where their interests lay. So we have people who have gone into the food service industry, and people may be doing some side jobs, host, because they appreciated and liked working with the customers. So we have a gentleman who's doing some host work at a restaurant. We have a young woman who really liked waiting on people and serving people, and she's working for a catering company doing that. There's been some other people who've decided that, my skill is not with the food service, or my interest isn't with the food service, but they really liked working with the register, and they liked talking with people. And so we had a woman, or a couple of people, who have gone on to retail positions and working with a register and doing the customer service. So it's not a restaurant job, but it is a skill that they learned and were able to work on at Breaking Grounds. Another great part about Breaking Grounds, where we're working with people who have an interest in food service, but really have not experienced it yet. So we've had people who've come in and decided they didn't like anything about customer service or food service, but they were able to do it in an environment that was safe and secure, and they could work with staff, and who then helped identify other jobs that they may be interested in. So one woman who, she thought her desire was to work in a restaurant, is now working as administrative staff for a business. And it was her experience through Breaking Grounds was she was able to realize, no, my dream that I've had for 5 years of working in a restaurant is nothing that I want to do. And so staff are able to work with her and find something that she's happy with.
Mm-hmm. Great. I have observed other special need children or adults working in the main field, and they are just so thrilled to be doing what they're doing, and they must just be in seventh heaven. It's so cool just to watch them,
It's been great for not only the people that we support, but for the community members too, to be able to come in and see people of all abilities working in the small cafe, working side by side. And it's allowed people to be able to say, you know what, my business, my company can also provide that avenue. So it's been great for other restaurant owners or small business owners to come in, sit down and see the program in action, and see the people we work with in action, and develop relationships, and then offer positions right from the coffee shop.
Yeah. Amazing. That's so cool. Kacy, I'm going to switch back to you. What type of autism services do you provide?
A lot. So we are the host to the North of Boston Autism Support Center, which it's called the Northeast Arc Autism Support Center. And within the center, we do many things. We host a lot of support groups for families, which is a really big thing. We've been growing. I know also recently we've added 2 different types of groups that support Arabic and Mandarin families.
So part of the goal of the Autism Support Center is really reaching out to the communities that don't typically know how to get support or support's not readily available, and to be able to work with the safe communities that they're used to working with and making inroads and be able to provide the level of support and education and training that they need, but in their native languages.
That's very important.
Yeah, and a number of programs. We have our building blocks. We have an ABA therapists who are always around for families to speak to. We have a spotlight program. We offer mentoring services and advocacy. There's just a lot of resources within the Autism Support Center.
So over the years, our autism programs have grown based upon what people have identified as needs. So a family member will come and talk to us about a specific need that their child or family member may have, and then we'll look and say, oh, we've heard this from a couple of other people, and develop a program model that will support them. So our Building Blocks program is really focused on children who are under the age of 3 who have the autism diagnosis, and it's working with families to really understand what that diagnosis means for that child and supporting the families around education. going through the lifespan of that child as they're growing up, there's opportunities to explore different programs that we have, such as the ABA programs that goes into people's houses and provides the training and education on site for the family members, or the Spotlight program, which is a program that uses drama and improv to teach social skills. And currently they're doing a movie making summer camp. And it's using fun activities, but always teaching along the way.
Okay, great. And Kacy, can you please tell us what First Steps Childcare and Preschool consists of?
Sure, yeah. First Steps is our inclusive daycare that we have in Danvers. It's located in our Center for Excellence, which is right nearby our administrative offices as well. We have children there from the early ages of 2 months, and we go up to 5 years old. And it's just a safe, friendly environment for children to learn and grow and, have those really formative years of emotional stability.
And what's great is because it is designed as an inclusive daycare, so we're working with children with and without disabilities side by side. So for the children without disabilities, they're also meeting friends and developing relationships that hopefully can carry them through longer in their lives. And then, for the children with disabilities, they're being paired up with peers that may not have their same concerns, and they're able to learn from each other.
That's so awesome. So cool. And Kacy, what other services for young children are offered?
So we provide early intervention services, which early intervention is services from 0 to 3 years old. Through those services, we also have our Building Blocks program, which is specifically for children with autism, for them to just do a lot more hands-on and different types of things that they need that are maybe a little bit more than the early intervention services. I think, I'm not exactly sure of our success rate, but most people say that with our early intervention program, a lot of people will just graduate from that and end up not needing our services after that.
Wow.
Early intervention is kind of like the godsend for the family members, for parents, and a lot of people kind of think at first that EI programs are for children with disabilities, but it's really set up for a child who also may be at risk of developing a disability. We work with families who might have economic disadvantages, can qualify for the service. Children with parents whose primary language isn't English. So we're working to teach the English language, which just better prepares someone for school. So it's not just for people, when you look at a child and it's a classic disability, but it's anything that may hinder them further in their life. So a large percentage of the kids that we do support do not require any type of support or services after the age of 3. And what's great is that this is all covered through insurance, billable services, and so it's really not an out-of-pocket expense for the families.
Good, very interesting. And Tim, what are your day services?
So we have a variety of day services that people can participate in, and it's most of our programs are geared for after high school, and so it's people who've turned 22, and some programming can be for a student who decides to graduate prior to the age of 22. We offer day habilitation services, which is a insurance billable program, and that's teaching basic life skills and independent living skills. But we try to offer them in kind of a fun way. And so we're using games and volunteer opportunities and activities, so playwriting and acting and newspaper writing, to teach skills and encourage people. And then we also have community-based skills program, where most of the activity is happening outside of a building, and people go out in small groups with staff. And again, exploring the community, but you're always building upon a skill while you're doing that.
Okay, and what type of employment services do you have?
So for our employment services, we're really starting with transition age children. So starting at the 15 or 16-year-old young adult, working with the school districts, we provide a program that's through a federal funding, and students can select to come to our building during the day, during their school hours, and receive some pre-employment training, as well as community safety skill training, money management training, and they end the school year with a paid internship. Once someone turns 22, there's a variety of opportunities where we're working with people to identify what type of work skills they like to have, or what type of jobs they would like to have, and help them refine skills. And so we offer some group employment where people may work at a company. A small group of folks may go out to a company and work and get paid by the company, or the company may pay the Northeast Arc to pay the person for a job task. Our supported employment programs work with people on an individual basis, and they assist them on identifying what type of jobs they would like to have. We'll have job developers go out and try to find companies and match people's interests with what the companies have to offer. And then we'll provide hands-on job training while someone's learning a new job. One of the most expensive things for any business or company is training. And what we try to do is take some of the responsibility of the training into the Northeast Arc. So hiring one of our individuals doesn't increase any cost to the employer. So we'll provide the hands-on training. We'll fade away supports as soon as the employer and the employee are comfortable with each other. And we never fully leave. So we have people who've been in jobs for over 20 years. Our staff maintain at least a monthly touch-in with the employer to make sure things are going well. And what would happen is, if a new supervisor comes on scene, or if the job is changing, new technology is coming in, we can jump right back in and provide that hands-on job training for people. We also have some pre-employment program called Project Search, and many people have heard of Project Search. It's based on a national model. We partnered with Salem State University to provide this, and what's great for folks who are graduating high school, going the path of their typical peers or family members and going to college. And what we do on campus is we do it's a year-long program. People meet with staff in the morning, do some employment training classes for an hour. Then they go out on campus and do a 4-hour unpaid internship on campus, and then come back and do a peer support group and talk about what they did, some of the struggles, and we're teaching people how to support each other through work issues. The program participants will rotate internships every 3 months, and so they get to try out 3 completely different types of jobs. Through that process, the goal is for people to identify what they actually like to do for work, and then we support them to find employment afterwards.
Okay. Kacy, I'm going to switch over to you. What is the Family Resource Center?
So the Family Resource Center it's really a resource for families. We provide a number of services through there, similar to the Autism Support Center, referrals and information just for families on a number of different topics. And one big thing that we do provide through the Family Resource Center is also respite care.
Okay. And if anyone has any questions, can you give us your contact info, please?
Sure. Kacy Jauron. You can reach me via email at kjauron@ne-arc.org.
Great, thank you. And Tim, what is the ArcWorks Art Center?
So ArcWorks Community Art Center it's the former post office in downtown Peabody, and we've owned that for many years, and about 10 years ago, the programs that were in there moved out, and the city of Peabody was kind of starting some of the redevelopment and had more interest in arts-based programming. We had a lot of really successful arts programs that were scattered about in different communities, and we decided to bring them under one roof. So at ArcWorks, you have, when you first enter, a gallery space, and we do inclusive art shows. We'll do a call for art, and any artist on the North Shore can submit art. We have a juror come in from either a gallery or one of the local colleges and determine which pictures can be hung for the show. What's been great is we have people that we support who submit art for the shows as well. So when the jurors coming in, they do not know who has a disability and who doesn't have a disability. And so it's a fair competition in order to get hung. And every show we've had someone, at least one person, get accepted into the show. We average about 35 or 40 pictures for each show, and we have up to 150 submissions. So it is a kind of a stiff competition. At ArtWorks, we teach art classes. We have fine arts, we have sculpture making classes, and we have a pottery studio. We also have provided classes for community members. So our early intervention art therapists used to run inclusive art programming at the Art Center. Some of the local schools have taken pottery classes at the Art Center. The Art Center also houses our Shine Jewelry studio, and Shine Jewelry is an employment training program where we're working with people around a certain product line, and it's jewelry, thus the name. But we wholesale the jewelry to 10 different stores in the area right now, including the Peabody Essex Museum gift shop is one of our bigger supply, our wholesale customers. And then we also sell it at the local farmers market, as well as doing some pop-up stores throughout the year. The reason why we're doing the hands-on sales is also to allow people to go through learning on how to do customer service, how to be the salesperson. And so it's been a great training option for folks. Also at the Art Center is the Heritage Caning Company. So that's chair caning, which is the weaving, on the seats or the back of the chairs. A lot of people don't know about it. That started back in in the 1950s as kind of like just a hobby that one of the moms that we worked with knew how to do. We spun it off as a separate business, and now we're one of only 2 storefront caning businesses left in Massachusetts and potentially New England. We think a store closed in Connecticut over the last couple of years. A lot of people do them out of the barns, their barns or garages or out of their homes, but there's only a couple of places in this region to bring a chair into a store. So we work with customers from all over. One of the claim to fame for the Heritage Caning Company is that they have chairs that they've caned on display at the Lincoln Library in Illinois.
Cool, fascinating. Tim, if anyone would like more information, can you please give us your contact info?
So it's Tim Brown, all one word, at ne-arc.org.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry, but that's all the time that we have. Thank you for all you do for those in need. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. Please send them to lifeissuestv@gmail.com. And remember, live each day to the fullest and celebrate life.